God says, "My beloved soul, there are moments in life when clarity arrives not to disturb you, but to free you. What is coming to light regarding your family is not meant to break bonds, it is meant to strengthen understanding. For a long time, certain emotions, unspoken tensions, silent misunderstandings, and hidden patterns have existed beneath the surface. No one talked about them openly. No one addressed them directly. They lingered quietly, shaping conversations, shaping reactions, shaping relationships in ways you could feel but never fully explain. Now heaven is allowing awareness to rise gently, not as exposure meant to embarrass, but as illumination meant to heal. Archangel Michael speaks of truth not as something harsh, but as something cleansing. When light enters a room that has been dim for years, it does not attack the darkness, it simply reveals what was already there. In the same way, what is being revealed in your family dynamic is not new. It has existed quietly. The difference now is that you are ready to see it clearly. Growth has prepared you for this awareness. Your emotional maturity has strengthened you. Your patience has deepened. That is why this truth can surface now without overwhelming you. You may begin noticing subtle realizations about roles within your family. Perhaps you have carried responsibility that was never fully yours. Perhaps someone else has been silently struggling while appearing strong. Perhaps misunderstandings were rooted not in malice, but in miscommunication passed down over time. These insights may feel surprising at first, but they will also feel relieving. Because confusion creates tension, but clarity creates peace. God says this revelation is not about blame. It is about understanding. Every family carries patterns, emotional habits, communication styles, expectations formed over generations. Some patterns build strength. Others quietly limit growth. When you begin to see these patterns clearly, you are given the opportunity to choose differently. That is the true blessing of revelation. It gives you choice. It allows you to break cycles gently rather than repeat them unconsciously. There may be conversations that unfold in the coming months that feel deeper than usual. Words may be spoken that were long overdue. Emotions may surface that were held back for years. Do not fear these moments. Approach them with calm listening. Sometimes healing begins not with dramatic change, but with someone finally feeling heard. Your maturity will guide you here. You do not need to fix everyone. You only need to respond with steadiness and compassion. Archangel Michael reminds you that truth is not meant to divide, it is meant to align. When hidden feelings are acknowledged, resentment softens. When misunderstandings are clarified, tension reduces. When intentions are expressed honestly, connection strengthens. The light being allowed into your family dynamic is not destructive, it is restorative. Even if certain realizations feel uncomfortable at first, they will ultimately create healthier foundations. You may also realize something about yourself through this process. Perhaps you have been stronger than you recognized. Perhaps you have been more forgiving than others noticed. Perhaps you have carried burdens quietly to maintain harmony. This revelation will help you see your own growth more clearly. It will help you set healthier boundaries. It will help you balance love with self-respect. God says the timing of this awareness matters. You are emotionally stable enough now to handle it wisely. In the past, you may have reacted defensively. Now you will respond thoughtfully. That difference changes everything. The same truth revealed at a different stage of growth could have created conflict. Revealed now, it can create clarity. Imagine your family relationships slowly becoming lighter. Conversations more open. Expectations more realistic. Roles more balanced. This is not fantasy. It is the natural outcome of truth handled gently. Healing does not happen overnight, but it begins the moment honesty meets maturity. The light coming into your family dynamic is not here to expose weakness. It is here to build understanding. It is here to untangle confusion. It is here to allow each person to be seen more clearly, including you. And when people are seen clearly, compassion grows. So breathe deeply and understand this: heaven is not revealing something to disturb your peace. It is revealing something to protect it. What was hidden is surfacing because you are ready to handle it with wisdom. And through that wisdom, harmony will strengthen rather than fracture. God says, "My beloved soul," as this truth continues to unfold, you will begin to understand that revelation is not a sudden explosion but a gradual awakening. Sometimes clarity does not arrive through dramatic moments, it arrives through small realizations that begin connecting like pieces of a puzzle. You may remember past situations differently. You may reinterpret certain memories with a new sense of understanding. What once felt confusing may suddenly make sense. This is not coincidence. This is awareness expanding. Heaven is not forcing anything, it is gently lifting the veil so that you can see your family story with wisdom instead of emotion alone. For years, certain feelings may have gone unspoken in your home. Maybe love was present, but communication was limited. Maybe expectations were high, but appreciation was rarely expressed. Maybe someone carried silent disappointment while smiling outwardly. These hidden layers do not mean your family is broken. They mean your family is human. Every family has complexities beneath the surface. What makes the difference is whether those complexities remain hidden or are understood with compassion. The truth coming to light now is not meant to expose weakness, it is meant to strengthen connection through awareness. Archangel Michael speaks of emotional inheritance. Just as families pass down traditions, stories, and values, they also pass down emotional patterns. Reactions learned from parents. Silence learned from grandparents. Fear learned from past experiences. Sometimes you inherited ways of coping that were never truly yours. You may now recognize that certain behaviors in your family were shaped by old wounds, not by lack of love. This understanding softens judgment. It creates empathy where frustration once lived. When you see the root, you respond differently to the branch. You may also begin noticing that your role within the family has been evolving. Perhaps you were once the peacemaker, the responsible one, the strong one who absorbed tension so others could remain comfortable. That role may have protected harmony in the past, but it may no longer fit who you are becoming. This truth being revealed is also about your growth. You are not here to carry emotional weight forever. You are here to contribute with balance. Recognizing your limits does not mean rejecting your family, it means honoring your own well-being. God says there is strength in gentle boundaries. As clarity increases, you may feel the need to communicate more openly. Not with accusation, but with calm honesty. Not to confront, but to clarify. Healthy relationships are built not on silence, but on mutual understanding. When you express your feelings respectfully, you invite others to do the same. And sometimes, one person choosing emotional maturity changes the entire atmosphere of a household. This revelation may also bring healing to past misunderstandings. You may realize that certain conflicts were never truly about what they seemed. They were about fear. About insecurity. About unspoken expectations. When truth surfaces, the story changes. You stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start asking, "What was really happening beneath the surface?" That shift transforms resentment into perspective. It transforms blame into awareness. Archangel Michael reminds you that light reveals both pain and potential. As hidden dynamics come forward, you may see opportunities for deeper connection that were previously blocked by confusion. Imagine conversations where listening replaces defensiveness. Imagine moments where vulnerability replaces pride. Imagine family members acknowledging past mistakes without shame. These possibilities exist because truth makes growth possible. You may also discover something beautiful, that despite misunderstandings, love has always been present. It may not have been expressed perfectly. It may not have always felt visible. But it was there. Sometimes truth does not reveal betrayal, it reveals effort that was misunderstood. It reveals sacrifices that were unnoticed. It reveals care that was expressed differently than you expected. This realization can soften your heart in powerful ways. God says, do not rush this process. Let clarity unfold naturally. You do not need to fix everything immediately. Awareness itself is progress. Sometimes simply understanding the dynamic changes how you respond to it. Instead of reacting emotionally, you respond thoughtfully. Instead of assuming intent, you ask questions. Instead of withdrawing, you communicate calmly. This steady shift builds trust over time. There may also be moments where you feel emotional as old memories resurface with new meaning. Allow yourself to feel them without judgment. Healing is not weakness, it is strength. Every time you choose understanding over resentment, you strengthen your emotional foundation. Every time you choose calm over reaction, you reshape your family's future. Archangel Michael says the truth being revealed is ultimately about alignment. Alignment between who you are becoming and how you interact with those closest to you. Alignment between love and honesty. Alignment between responsibility and self-care. As these alignments strengthen, you will feel lighter. Conversations will feel clearer. Your energy will feel more balanced. Remember this deeply. Truth handled with wisdom builds unity. It does not destroy it. The light entering your family dynamic is not here to create distance, it is here to create authenticity. And authenticity builds stronger bonds than silence ever could. God says, "My beloved soul, as this season of revelation continues, you will begin to feel a quiet shift inside your heart before you see visible changes around you." Clarity always begins within. The truth heaven is allowing you to see is not simply about others, it is also about your own evolution. For years, you may have tried to understand your family through emotion alone. You felt hurt, loyalty, confusion, responsibility, love, and sometimes exhaustion all at once. Now you are being invited to understand through wisdom. Wisdom does not erase emotion, but it organizes it. It helps you see the full picture without losing your balance. There were moments in your family history that shaped everyone more deeply than anyone realized. Decisions made during stressful seasons. Words spoken in moments of fear. Silence chosen during times when vulnerability felt unsafe. These moments did not disappear, they became part of the emotional structure of your home. You sensed this structure even if no one explained it to you. That subtle tension, that unspoken understanding, that invisible weight, it was real. And now heaven is helping you recognize it without anger, without panic, without blame. Recognition is the beginning of transformation. Archangel Michael reminds you that when truth rises gently, it allows healing to follow naturally. You may notice that certain behaviors now make sense in a way they never did before. The family member who seemed distant may have been protecting themselves from disappointment. The one who appeared controlling may have been operating from fear of loss. The one who rarely expressed affection may have grown up without knowing how to show it. Understanding does not justify hurtful actions, but it explains the roots behind them. When you understand the roots, you stop personalizing everything. And when you stop personalizing everything, your heart becomes lighter. You are also being shown something important about your own strength. You survived emotional seasons that required maturity beyond your years. You navigated misunderstandings without completely losing your compassion. You balanced loyalty with resilience. That was not weakness, that was growth in motion. The truth coming to light now is not exposing your family to you so that you feel isolated from them. It is revealing how strong you have quietly become within that environment. As awareness deepens, you may feel a desire for healthier communication. This desire is not rebellion, it is evolution. You no longer want conversations built on assumption. You want clarity. You no longer want roles assigned silently, you want mutual respect. This is not about demanding change from others. It is about modeling emotional balance. Sometimes the most powerful shift in a family begins when one person calmly changes their response pattern. When you choose steady communication instead of reaction, you interrupt cycles that have existed for years. God says this revelation also protects you from repeating inherited patterns in your own future relationships. Awareness is protection. When you understand the emotional blueprint you grew up with, you can decide which parts to carry forward and which parts to gently release. You can keep the loyalty, the resilience, the love. You can release the silence, the unnecessary guilt, the pressure to carry everything alone. This is how generational growth begins, not through confrontation, but through conscious choice. You may begin to see subtle improvements in your family atmosphere as your internal clarity stabilizes. Energy shifts before words do. When you become calmer, the environment around you adjusts. When you become more grounded, conversations soften. You do not need to announce transformation. You simply embody it. Others may not immediately understand what has changed, but they will feel it. Calm is contagious. Maturity is magnetic. There may also be moments where you grieve certain realizations. Perhaps you recognize that not everything was as stable as you once believed. Perhaps you see where expectations were unrealistic. Allow yourself that reflection without judgment. Growth sometimes includes acknowledging imperfections. But imperfection does not erase love. It simply humanizes it. Archangel Michael says the truth being revealed is ultimately strengthening your emotional independence while preserving your connection. You are learning how to love without losing yourself. You are learning how to support without carrying burdens that are not yours. You are learning how to remain present without absorbing every tension. This balance is powerful. It changes how you experience family forever. As this process continues, you will feel less reactive and more reflective. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by dynamics, you will feel informed by them. Instead of feeling controlled by emotional undercurrents, you will feel aware of them. Awareness creates choice. Choice creates freedom. Freedom creates peace. God says the light entering your family story is not here to create division, it is here to establish clarity. And clarity builds stronger foundations than secrecy ever could. When hidden emotions are acknowledged, trust increases. When misunderstandings are clarified, unity strengthens. When patterns are recognized, growth accelerates. So breathe deeply and understand this: you are not witnessing exposure, you are witnessing evolution. You are not losing connection, you are strengthening it through understanding. The truth is not arriving to disrupt your life, it is arriving to stabilize it. God says, "My beloved soul," as the layers continue to unfold, you will begin to notice that what is being revealed is not only about understanding the past, but about preparing your future. Every family carries both visible history and invisible influence. Some of that influence shaped you in beautiful ways. Some of it shaped you through quiet pressure, silent expectations, and emotional roles that were never clearly defined. The light now entering your awareness is helping you distinguish between what truly belongs to you and what was simply carried because no one else knew how to hold it. This distinction is powerful because it restores balance inside your spirit. There were dynamics in your family that operated like unwritten rules. Perhaps you learned early to keep peace rather than express discomfort. Perhaps you felt responsible for maintaining emotional stability when others struggled. Perhaps you sensed tension but were never given language to describe it. These experiences became part of your internal framework. You adapted. You matured quickly. You became observant. Yet deep inside, there may have always been a quiet question: why does it feel like I am carrying more than I should? The truth coming to light is answering that question gently. It is showing you that some of the weight you felt was not yours alone to carry. Archangel Michael reminds you that awareness is not rebellion, it is refinement. Recognizing patterns does not mean rejecting your family. It means evolving beyond unconscious repetition. You can love your family deeply while still choosing healthier boundaries. You can respect your upbringing while also adjusting how you respond to inherited expectations. This is not division. It is maturity. And maturity strengthens relationships because it replaces silent resentment with conscious clarity. As this season progresses, you may observe subtle changes in how you perceive certain individuals. You may begin to see strengths you overlooked before. You may also recognize limitations more clearly. This balanced perception is healthy. It allows you to interact with realism instead of assumption. When you see people as they truly are, not idealized, not criticized, your responses become steadier. Steadiness creates emotional safety. Emotional safety strengthens connection. There is also a deeper truth unfolding within you. You are no longer the same version of yourself who once accepted confusion as normal. Growth has sharpened your intuition. You now recognize when something feels misaligned. You notice when conversations circle around issues without addressing them directly. You feel when energy shifts subtly in a room. These sensitivities are not weaknesses, they are awareness expanding. Heaven is simply confirming what your spirit has already sensed. God says that as clarity increases, you will feel less reactive to family tension. Instead of feeling overwhelmed, you will feel observant. Instead of absorbing emotional fluctuations, you will remain grounded. This shift changes everything. When one person stabilizes internally, the environment around them begins adjusting. You may not see immediate transformation in others, but you will feel increased peace within yourself. And that internal peace is the true victory. Some realizations may bring quiet sadness. You may acknowledge that certain emotional needs were never fully met. You may recognize moments where you felt unseen. Allow yourself to process these reflections without bitterness. Acknowledgement is healing. It validates your experience without turning it into resentment. When you accept your past honestly, you prevent it from unconsciously shaping your future. Archangel Michael says this revelation is also positioning you to create a healthier emotional legacy moving forward. Whether you build your own family one day or continue strengthening your current relationships, you now have awareness that previous generations may not have had. You understand the importance of communication. You value emotional transparency. You recognize the weight of silent expectations. This knowledge empowers you to choose differently. And when you choose differently, generational growth begins quietly but powerfully. There will be moments when conversations open doors that were once closed. Words may finally be spoken that were delayed for years. Listen with calm strength. Speak with balanced clarity. You do not need to prove your perspective, you simply need to express it with respect. When honesty meets composure, even difficult discussions can become healing. God says the light revealing these truths is not here to expose fault, it is here to restore alignment. Alignment between love and honesty. Alignment between responsibility and self-care. Alignment between connection and individuality. You are learning how to remain connected without losing your identity. This balance protects your peace while preserving your relationships. Over time, you will notice something remarkable. What once felt heavy will begin to feel manageable. What once felt confusing will feel understandable. What once felt tense will feel navigable. Not because everything changed instantly, but because your perception matured. Mature perception transforms experience. So take a slow breath and understand this deeply. You are not witnessing disruption. You are witnessing refinement. You are not losing your foundation, you are strengthening it with clarity. The truth being revealed is not a threat to your family, it is an invitation to deeper understanding and healthier connection. God says, "My beloved soul, as this season continues to unfold, you are beginning to understand that the truth being revealed is not meant to separate you from your family but to liberate you from misunderstandings that quietly shaped your identity." For many years, certain patterns operated beneath the surface like currents moving under still water. You may not have consciously recognized them, but you felt their effect in your emotions, your decisions, and even your confidence. Now the light is not exposing these patterns to embarrass anyone, it is illuminating them so you can choose differently moving forward. This awareness is sacred because it gives you the power to respond instead of react, to understand instead of assume, and to heal instead of silently carry. There were roles you stepped into without realizing it. Perhaps you became the strong one, the mediator, the achiever, the quiet supporter, or the emotional anchor. You may have felt responsible for stabilizing others while suppressing your own vulnerability. That role may have earned you praise, but it also carried weight. Heaven is gently showing you that while your strength was admirable, you were never meant to lose yourself in the process. Recognizing this does not diminish your love for your family, it honors your humanity. You are allowed to be strong and still need support. You are allowed to give and still require understanding. This balance is part of the truth coming to light. As clarity deepens, you may notice memories resurfacing with new perspective. Situations you once interpreted as personal rejection may now appear as someone else's limitation. Moments that felt confusing may now feel understandable when viewed through maturity. This shift in perception is powerful because it releases you from unnecessary self-blame. You were never the problem, you were navigating complex emotional environments with limited guidance. That realization softens your heart toward yourself and, in many ways, toward others as well. Archangel Michael says the hidden truth also involves recognizing the unspoken sacrifices within your family. There were struggles you may not have fully seen. There were fears that shaped decisions. There were expectations formed out of survival rather than intention. Understanding this context does not excuse hurtful patterns, but it provides perspective. Perspective reduces resentment. When resentment dissolves, peace expands. And peace is what heaven desires to anchor inside you now. You are entering a phase where your emotional intelligence is increasing. You are noticing subtle dynamics without becoming overwhelmed by them. Instead of absorbing tension, you are observing it calmly. Instead of reacting defensively, you are pausing thoughtfully. This internal steadiness is not accidental. It is the result of growth, reflection, and divine guidance working together. When one person in a family becomes emotionally grounded, it creates a ripple effect. The atmosphere gradually shifts because stability has entered the room. There may come moments when conversations unfold that were once avoided. You might find yourself speaking truths gently but clearly. You might listen to confessions or explanations that reshape your understanding. Approach these moments with openness rather than expectation. Not every revelation will be dramatic, some will be quiet realizations that slowly adjust your perception. What matters is that clarity is increasing. Clarity always strengthens relationships when it is handled with humility. God says that part of what was hidden was your own potential to redefine family legacy. You are not here to repeat unconscious cycles. You are here to refine them. You have developed awareness that previous generations may not have had the opportunity to cultivate. This awareness equips you to create healthier emotional environments, whether within your current family or within the relationships you build moving forward. You are becoming someone who values transparency, balance, and respect. That transformation is significant because it changes more than your present, it shapes your future. As you continue walking through this season, you may notice that old emotional triggers lose intensity. Situations that once drained you may feel manageable. Interactions that once created anxiety may feel neutral. This is not indifference, it is maturity. You are learning that you can love deeply without losing stability. You can care without absorbing chaos. You can remain connected while protecting your peace. That equilibrium is the hidden strength heaven has been cultivating within you. There is also healing occurring in ways you may not immediately recognize. Forgiveness may emerge naturally, not because you forced it, but because understanding replaced confusion. Compassion may arise, not because you ignored pain, but because you saw the full picture. Healing is not forgetting, it is integrating truth with grace. When integration happens, your emotional landscape becomes calmer. Calmness allows joy to return in subtle but consistent ways. Archangel Michael reminds you that revelation is a gift when received with humility. You do not need to confront aggressively or withdraw defensively. You can simply stand in your awareness and let your steadiness speak for itself. Over time, others may respond to your calm energy by adjusting their own. Growth often spreads quietly, without announcement. God says the ultimate purpose of this revealed truth is restoration, not disruption. Restoration of your self-understanding. Restoration of balanced connection. Restoration of emotional boundaries. Restoration of peace. The light shining on what was once hidden is not harsh, it is gentle. It does not accuse, it clarifies. It does not divide, it aligns. So breathe slowly and recognize how far you have come. You are no longer navigating blindly. You are no longer questioning your instincts. You are no longer carrying roles that silence your authentic voice. You are evolving into someone who understands family deeply but also understands self-worth clearly. That clarity is strength. That strength is peace. And that peace is the foundation for everything beautiful that is still unfolding. God says, "My beloved soul," as this final layer of understanding settles into your heart, you are beginning to realize that the greatest truth being revealed was never only about others, it was about you. It was about who you became in response to your environment, who you thought you had to be in order to be loved, and who you are now discovering you truly are beneath those roles. For years you adapted quietly. You learned when to speak and when to remain silent. You learned how to anticipate moods. You learned how to protect harmony, even at the cost of your own emotional expression. Those adaptations helped you survive complex dynamics, but they were never meant to define your permanent identity. Heaven is revealing that your essence is far greater than any role you once carried. There comes a moment in every growth journey where awareness turns into ownership. You are standing in that moment now. You see the patterns clearly, not with blame but with maturity. You understand the emotional currents that once shaped decisions and reactions. Yet instead of feeling overwhelmed, you feel steady. That steadiness is evidence of transformation. It means you are no longer unconsciously repeating cycles. You are consciously choosing responses. When awareness and choice align, legacy changes begin quietly but powerfully. You may notice that as you grow calmer inside, certain conversations feel lighter. The tension that once felt heavy no longer controls your nervous system. The need to defend yourself fades because you understand yourself. The urge to prove your perspective softens because your identity feels secure. Security within is one of the greatest gifts of revelation. When you know who you are, misunderstandings lose power over you. You no longer interpret every disagreement as rejection. You no longer carry every silence as personal dismissal. Your perception matures, and with maturity comes peace. Archangel Michael says that what was hidden was also your strength. Not the survival strength that endured pressure, but the balanced strength that integrates compassion with boundaries. You are learning that love does not require self-erasure. You are learning that connection does not demand emotional exhaustion. You are learning that honoring your needs does not equal disloyalty. These realizations free you internally. Freedom does not separate you from family, it allows you to relate without resentment. As this season continues, you may sense a new kind of confidence emerging. It is not loud. It does not seek attention. It is quiet and grounded. It shows up in how you hold eye contact. It appears in how you respond calmly to criticism. It reflects in how you no longer over-explain yourself. This confidence is the fruit of truth. Truth stabilizes identity. Stabilized identity strengthens relationships because you are no longer interacting from insecurity. God says there is also a generational shift occurring through you. The awareness you carry now becomes a bridge between past and future. You understand the struggles that shaped previous generations, and you also understand the importance of emotional openness moving forward. This balanced understanding positions you as a quiet reformer within your lineage. Not through confrontation, but through example. Your steadiness teaches others without words. Your clarity invites healthier dialogue. Your boundaries demonstrate self-respect. These changes may seem subtle, but they carry lasting impact. There will be moments when you reflect on how far you have come. Situations that once left you confused now feel clear. Interactions that once drained you now feel manageable. Emotional triggers that once dominated your reactions now feel distant. This progression is not accidental. It is the result of introspection, courage, and divine guidance aligning. Growth rarely announces itself loudly, it reveals itself in calmer responses and wiser decisions. Archangel Michael reminds you that truth and love can coexist. You do not need to choose between honesty and harmony. When expressed with respect, truth deepens harmony because it replaces assumption with clarity. Continue communicating with calm confidence. Continue listening with openness. Continue holding your peace even when others are still learning theirs. Your composure is part of the healing process. God says that the ultimate revelation is this: you are no longer defined by hidden dynamics. You are defined by conscious choice. You are defined by emotional awareness. You are defined by the courage to evolve. The light that has illuminated your family patterns has also illuminated your inner resilience. That resilience is now your foundation. From this foundation, you can build relationships that are healthier, clearer, and more fulfilling. As you move forward, remember that growth is ongoing. There will always be new layers of understanding, but you are equipped to handle them. You have developed the ability to pause before reacting. You have cultivated empathy without self-sacrifice. You have learned that love can be steady without being self-neglecting. These lessons prepare you for deeper peace and stronger connection in the seasons ahead. So breathe deeply and acknowledge your transformation. You are not the same person who once felt uncertain in these dynamics. You are wiser. You are calmer. You are grounded. The truth that has come to light has not broken your foundation, it has strengthened it. It has not divided your heart, it has matured it. And in that maturity, heaven sees growth that will echo far beyond this moment. If this message helped you see your family and yourself with more clarity and maturity, type Amen in the comments as a sign that you are choosing growth over confusion. Share this with someone who may also be walking through hidden truths and silent healing, and subscribe so you can continue receiving messages that strengthen your peace, wisdom, and emotional balance.